Welcome to Baba's Talk Show, recorded live in Gold Coast, Australia.
Welcome to another episode of Baba's Talk Show. As usual, our special guests who come and talk about their lives and what they're doing and their opinion about Gold Coast. And today is no exceptional. Now, this lady, I've known her for many, many years. In fact, a decade, right? And she's well known. She doesn't need to have any introduction, but I still do for some new viewers. Okay, today our special guest is Debbie. How are you, Debbie?
Thanks for having me today.
I always wanted to have you on a talk show, but I know you're very busy all the time. And well, finally we got a chance to talk about yourself and what you've been up to lately. And so we'll start off with a background of yourself.
Yeah, so I was born on the Gold Coast,
Right.
and born in Southport, and grew up in Cavill Avenue in
Right.
Surfers Paradise.
Right.
So I was one of the early families, I guess, Chinese families on the Gold Coast. I
Right.
think there was 3 Chinese families on the Gold Coast.
Okay.
And back then, it was so very relaxed and lovely, and you could walk down the street and it was comfortable. You didn't worry about anything. So, but everything from my childhood has been knocked down. I think I don't think there's anything left from my childhood. But back then, it was just such a different time, exciting time though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are of Cantonese heritage?
Yes.
Okay. And I mean, your family were like how many generations now?
So I'm 5th generation.
Oh, 5th generation.
Fifth
Okay.
generation. My great-great-grandfather came over in the late 1800s.
Right.
And he was indentured to come here, I could say, and he worked in the tobacco fields.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I heard that your father had a restaurant here.
So it's very interesting because I only found this out recently. So my grandfather was part owner of Cafe, which was one of the first Chinese restaurants on the Gold Coast.
Right.
But across the road was a restaurant called the La Ronde.
Okay.
The La Ronde was a famous restaurant. It was a steak restaurant.
Right.
And the interesting thing was
Yes.
my mother's father, so my paternal grandfather,
Yeah.
was a partner on that one.
Okay.
So both grandfathers had a stake in early Surfers Paradise.
All right.
Yeah.
And that was way back in 1940s or?
50s.
Okay,
50s,
good.
60s, yeah.
So that was just the start of Gold Coast. Because Gold Coast is a fairly new city.
Yeah.
All right. So, and only few families of Chinese heritage here.
That's right.
And you went to school on the Gold Coast?
So I went to school in Surfers Paradise State School when it was in Surfers Paradise.
All right.
And then in year 3, they built a new school on Isle of Capri.
Okay.
So as children, we all in one line walked from the old school to the new school, and it was
Right.
on the front page of the newspaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was really interesting because at that time, of course, they still had the white Australia policy, right? So you didn't have too many people from multicultural background.
So the White Australia policy went for about 70 years. 1973 it finished.
Right.
It started in 1901. There were still people that came over. So with my family, so what it was my great-great-grandfather came over. He was allowed to bring his son over,
Okay.
but not his family.
Oh, okay.
He could go home every 10 years.
Okay.
And then my great-grandfather brought my grandfather over.
Okay.
So that's my immediate grandfather.
Uh-huh.
And then my grandfather actually brought my mother over because he didn't have any sons.
Okay.
And then my grandmother was left in China, and looking after stuff over there.
Yeah.
And he would send money back. And then she finally came only a few years before I was born.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now back to you. In school, how was the school life? I think you are the very few non-white in the school.
That's right.
Okay.
So I think I was especially in primary school and kindergarten, I was very quiet. And you'll probably laugh because I do talk a lot now.
Yeah.
But I was very quiet. And I think, quiet children observe.
Right.
They sit and observe because when I was very little, I actually probably spoke more Chinese than English. And then as you grow up, I spoke more English than Chinese.
Right, right.
Yeah,
that's what been.
it was a different time.
Yes,
Though.
I mean, actually, you grew up with Gold Coast. So, what do you think of Gold Coast overall now?
Look, this it things have gone so fast. Things
Right.
have grown so fast.
Mm.
I think we have to be wary of that because this is my home. I love my home. I love the Gold Coast. We have the most unique features anywhere in the world. We've got the beach, and then within you can drive for 20 minutes and you're in the mountains.
Right.
There's not many places where you have
Yeah.
that. The only thing is, if we overdevelop, even now there are stretches of beach that have no sun because the buildings are shading it, and that's what draws people to the Gold Coast.
Right.
We're known for our beaches.
Right.
We don't want to shade them. Same as the mountains. I think mountains are still pretty pristine.
Right.
But we need to try and keep the character of what is Australian,
Right.
what is the Gold Coast, and try to preserve that, and not but really think about the architecture and really think about town planning, and really make it a place for families. I think
That's true. That's true. Because
Yeah.
I've been here for the last 25 years, and during these 25 years, I can see a big change. Especially in traffic. The amount of traffic that is grown, because I mean, those days you can just easily zoom through, but
I
now.
used to walk.
All right. Now, Debbie, I know you're involved in so many different activities. I can't even pinpoint which one because there's so many activities. Tell me, which one are you in recent years, very active in?
So I'm very passionate about innovation because I believe that technology, there's good and bad, but technology can solve so many problems. And we do. Our planet has a lot of problems, whether it's human created
Yes.
or whether it's natural disasters.
Right.
But I feel technology can solve a lot of these problems,
Right.
or help to solve these problems.
Right.
So I'm very passionate about innovation and technology.
Right.
So I was one of the directors of the Gold Coast Innovation Hub.
Right.
I'm now an advisor.
Right.
I speak at different events about whatever it is. I'm speaking in a couple of weeks for ICT Forum, and that's a debate on AI, artificial intelligence, whether it's good or bad.
Right. Right.
And so I do research those topics, and I'm actually just starting a new company.
Right.
That is around artificial intelligence.
Okay.
So that's to be announced.
Okay, good. We are waiting for that announcement. In the meantime, but of course, apart from this innovation hub, you also represent Chinese community as well.
Yeah.
Right? Because I meet you in many events, and you're always there. And so, what is your opinion about multiculturalism on the Gold Coast?
Oh well, look, I love our community. I love how we're so collaborative. Well, not there are little things, but in general, we are very collaborative. And if one group is having an event, the others will help.
Yes.
Like it's not like a lot of places it's very closed. One community is very closed to another community.
Right.
But here we're very collaborative. With the Chinese community, I feel that for 200 years the Chinese community has been here, or that's modern Australia. If we're talking historical Australia, we've been here. Yeah. We've been trading with the Aboriginals for hundreds of years.
That's true. Yeah.
But for modern Australia, we've been here for a couple of 100 years. And it's always been the Chinese have put their head down and just worked and not had a voice. And I think after 200 years, it's time to have a voice. I mean, we've been through so much. Again, you mentioned the White Australia policy. That finished in 1973. But, there's still ramifications from that. And it's not just the Chinese community. The other communities feel it as well. Religious communities feel that as well. So I think people need to understand or be educated about certainly my history, certainly your history, so that they don't have any fear. I think there's a lot of fear, and it's probably driven by media. The media is good and bad, but there is media that's not so kind.
Well, they have to sensationalize their news, so
Yeah.
people will buy their news.
That's
You know,
right.
so it's all about business anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Having said that, you see, I agree with you that Gold Coast is a very unique place when it comes to collaboration with different communities. As you know, you're very active in the multicultural communities, like myself, and also interfaith, and it's all accessible, very accessible. That's why the same group of people meet in all these events, and that's good. Now, what's your advice for youngsters who might be interested in what you're doing, like innovation? So, what do you expect from them on the go?
Oh, well, it's I think it as a child you love to explore and try new things. As you
Right.
get older, you kind of lose that a little bit.
Right.
Don't give up your your curiosity. That's what
Right.
I say. Don't give up your curiosity. If you don't understand something, then
Right.
go and look it up and research it.
Right.
If you have a major problem, and it could be yours, it could be your friends, it could be the community problem,
Right.
look for solutions. And how
Right.
do we find solutions? Generally, with technology, we
Right.
can find a solution
Right.
for it. Or whatever it is, but looking for solutions, being creative, being an entrepreneur.
Right.
It's all about and collaborating. So if you're in a community, say Chinese community, Muslim community, whatever community, don't be afraid to go outside that community. I think a lot of people are stuck in their little community and they don't go outside their bubble.
Right.
So don't be afraid. There are a lot of people out there that will help you. There are a lot of kind people.
Oh
around.
yes, there is.
There are a lot of kind people around, and especially religious groups, and there are many religious groups. There's so much help and love and support within different religious groups, different community groups, that they will welcome you with open hands. So don't be afraid. I think that's my.
No, that's true, because you are like an ambassador for a Chinese community, and I myself as an ambassador for the Islamic community. That's why we meet all these events. We try to engage more, like you say, engage more, and I know people are very very happy to embrace each other and get to know about each other's culture, and especially, as you know, always there is food. All these events, they have different food.
Always.
So I think the food is one of the way to break the barrier. And other than that, of course, our personal action, the way we think. As you know, Debbie, I have a motto for the last 12 years, and I've been preaching that. So I don't mind repeating to some of our viewers today. Here we say, no matter where you come from, no matter what language you speak, no matter what your religious beliefs are, we are all brothers and sisters in humanity. Therefore, we should respect each other, extend love and care, and be compassionate to one another. So, if we follow this principle, it will be a very beautiful and harmonious place to live in. And it's good. I'm very happy, like you say, you're very happy living on the Gold Coast. And not only even the government people are very friendly here. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's we're very collaborative, and I
Yeah.
think again, a lot of people are afraid to speak to their politicians, are
Right.
afraid to speak to the police, afraid to speak to their leaders. And I would say, go up and say hello.
Yes, that's right.
Go up and say hello, and I think you'll be very surprised.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true, Debbie. The senior police force, the QPS, the senior management, the easygoing, because the whole idea is that the principle is to engage the community. Even the leaders that I met, the politicians here on the Gold Coast, they want to engage with the community. So
Yeah.
there is an openness where you can go, like you say, hey, hello, and start a conversation.
Yeah.
And I would encourage that, especially for people coming from different part of the world.
Cultures.
Yeah, different cultures, different races. Don't put off, don't create a barrier. Just go and say hello. That's what
It is a cultural thing, and I
Right.
have to, we have to acknowledge that
Right.
that in other cultures that it's not as easy to speak to your leaders,
Right.
And they might they might have come from a culture where it's quite, it might not be a nice experience.
Right. Right.
But here, definitely in Australia, it's open. It's quite open, and even if you like, there are some people that might have experienced bad things, but in general, reach out.
Reach out. That's right. And any other events coming up?
We have Chinese New Year.
Oh, Chinese New Year. That's
I'm
right.
wearing red.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's Chinese New Year. That's on the 10th.
Yes, it is.
That's this Saturday.
Yes,
yeah,
it
this
is.
Saturday.
And then in Southport, there's Chinese New Year markets
Right.
and fireworks.
Right.
So, but there'll be events all around the Gold Coast where
Right.
you'll see lion dances and.
Okay. So these festivities in Southport, when are they starting? Morning, Saturday?
Afternoon to evening.
Okay.
I think it's 3:00. You might want to check.
Yeah.
But I think it's about 3:00 onwards.
Okay.
But it's
so we have a mini Chinatown, and for those who are not aware, in overseas audience, we have a mini Chinatown, and of course Debbie has been part of it from the beginning, and it's based in Southport, and now we have an increasing Chinese community plus people from other Asian countries. They also celebrate.
So it's
I've seen,
Lunar New Year.
Yeah, Koreans, they take part, Taiwanese and all that, and strangely or not strangely, Debbie and I, we speak the same Chinese dialect, Cantonese. She's very because I'm from Hong Kong, so I speak very fluent Cantonese, and she speaks Cantonese as well. And from time to time, we speak in Cantonese. Maybe you try now.
You want to say Happy New Year?
Yeah.
恭喜發財，
恭喜發財，利是到來，
新年快樂，
新年快樂，新年快樂。大家都開心。今日 maybe I speak in 今個星期六咧10號咧係新年啦。咁我哋 wish everybody a happy Chinese New Year, and this is the time where in the Chinese culture, wherever you might be, as many as possible, they all get together. The families. They might be miles apart, but on Chinese New Year Day, they all come home and they have a big feast. They carry on from afternoon till the next day, eating. And in China, of course, they watch the programs, a lot of programs on Chinese TV celebrating. So this is one part of how they celebrate Chinese New Year.
And the red packet.
Red packet, that's what I said. Lai si tao loi. Lai si. Okay. Well, normally, they give it to people who are not married, right? Like children, and even adults who are single, they also get it. And also bosses give to the employees. Yeah. So it's a red.
So it's like in Western countries we have Christmas.
Yeah.
In Chinese Asian countries we give gifts at New Year.
That's right. And in some they call it hong pao. In Cantonese is hong pao. Hong pao means the red packet. It's called lai si. Yeah. All right. Okay, with this note, I wish you a happy Chinese New Year
to
you
so
and
much.
Your family.
Thank you.
And then also to our audience who celebrate Chinese New Year. And Debbie, thank you so much for coming to the show today.
No.
And okay, Debbie, before you leave, I need to give a small token of appreciation. So
what?
Yeah,
I didn't know this.
We have a. So Debbie, thank you for coming this morning. And
goodness.
This is a small appreciation, award of appreciation, President Debbie Lo-DEAN, for appearing in Baba's talk show and for your services to the community. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. I was not expecting
right.
this.
So
amazing.
All right, good. Thank you. And Dean is the family name of Conrad?
My husband. Yes.
Yeah, husband. Yes.
Ding,
nice.
But in Cantonese we change it to Ding.
Ding. All right. Okay, I'll see you next time. Okay.
Thank you
very much.
Thank
okay.
You.
We'll take a photo.